Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron where, making progress. It's great. It may not look like it, but we definitely are. Look at this. Is this not progress? This objectively looks like progress to me. Fantastic. So we are, of course, making the best destroyers that we can right now. And we're making as many of them as we can as well. Now, we're pretty short on steel. In fact, we're extremely short on steel. Wow. Only 35 of the requested steel due to low trade influence with the U.S. Okay, we got to do something about that. Hey, U.S. Would you like to improve relations? Thank you. Wonderful. So we're going to improve relations with them. That can come up by a decent amount. And hopefully they'll start actually giving us their steel again. That would be nice. We do enjoy it when we are getting steel from the U.S. Now, it was pointed out to me that, and I realized this, but I didn't remember it, that the number of dockyards that can be used in repairing your ships is based on your naval base level. That was something that I had figured out in the last season of this, or the last series rather, but it was not something that I had remembered, so thank you for that. We do, of course, need to up our naval base levels, just like this. Anywhere where we already have a naval base, we're just going to want to max it out for that exact purpose. And I mean, there are other good reasons to do so, but we will just do this for now. Now, the question is, when do we want to prioritize this? Now, that is the ultimate question there. I think the answer to that is probably after we finish our infrastructure. No, I don't actually care about that. I want it here. There we go. So the reason I think that I want to do it after we finish our infrastructure is because I just want to have the infrastructure done. Period. End of story. So let's get all of these that have some naval base in them maxed out. Just like that. And I believe we have some at Galapagos as well. Yes, indeed. Okay, so we'll get that going, and we should be able to cruise through this remaining infrastructure fairly quickly. Now, we've got 4 divisions here. We're going to assign all 4 of them into this army. This is the army that only requires 61. So we're going to pull 2 of those into this army. This army is, of course, the one that requires 64. So that does mean that we only need 3 more at this point. So we are going to stop all 4 of those lines. Wonderful. And these 3 will finish up, and then we will cancel one of these. At which point, our Coast Guard will be done, and we'll be able to start expanding our offensive theater. That is wonderful. And our manpower will last longer, too. That'll be a nice thing as well. We can do region-wide industrial integration again, and that's something that we want to do, but we're going to wait on that for a bit. And how many shipyards do we currently have here? I feel like 20 is too many for that. I'm going to bump it down to 10. However, we do need to remember that we don't have steel. That is a thing. We definitely do not have steel. The U.S. is barely delivering any. We could get some from France. And so we shall. But of course, that is coming through this supply line here. So we really need to take control of the western coast. That is certainly a thing that we need to do. So one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to swap these 2. I want to have these guys patrolling up here and not down here. And these guys down here and not up here. Fantastic. So we're going to swap them like that. That should give us a lot more control up here. Now, the question is, do both of these flow into here? The answer is yes. So we don't control the mouth of the Mediterranean with this, but we definitely move our way up. We have naval exercises over here. These guys are doing naval exercises, and I kind of don't want them to be. What region are they supposed to be active in? But they're in a region that they can't access, aren't they? So they actually are supposed to be doing naval exercises. That's fine. I guess that's fine. So we're working our naval experience up here. That's fantastic. And we're doing much better in our naval supremacy over here now. And of course, we are putting out a decent number of destroyer hulls. Now, we're actually short on chromium all the way up here. Okay, I was going to say that's a little bit bonkers. No, we are not short on chromium all the way up here. I mean, all of our chromium is coming in from Turkey, so, I mean, there's a lot of space here that we're not patrolling that they can go after. And that's fair enough. That's definitely a thing that they can do. So that's fine. How are we doing on our trade convoys being raided? Okay, it's still at bare minimum, so that's fine. We're going to do region-wide industrial integration when we can, and we're also working our way through the tail end. Oh yeah, that's right. I think that we... Did we have another level of things to do here? So let's go into our destroyer here. I have a vague memory that this wasn't maxed out. Yeah, I think there's Torpedo Launcher 4 that will be available. I'm a little surprised that there's no active sonar 4. Everything else pretty much goes up to 4. FCS 3, though. Okay, we might just be missing other prerequisite text somewhere. So we'll move those guys into our Coast Guards. At long last, our Coast Guards are done. So we will cancel this division. Fantastic. And now we'll just produce 4 at a time. So that'll be fine. And those are, of course, going to help out our aggressive divisions up here. And in fact, we know for a fact that we can move these 3 units into a new army. And we can move, let's see, 7 infantry units out of here. Like that. We know this for an absolute fact. These guys don't currently have anything that they're being told to do. We're just going to have them drill, I guess. That's fine. So there we go. And that, of course, means that we need tanks in these armies. Now, we can put the units back in if we feel like it later on. But for now, that should be reasonably okay. It'll be a while before we're ready to attack the Soviet Union after all. I mean, we're not making any cruiser progress down here because we need steel. This isn't shocking. If we look in here, we know that we are going to need Torpedo Launcher 4 over here. And let's see, FCS systems are in here, are they not? Yeah, that's the ballistic computer. Yeah, so this is the FCS systems. So we are maxed out there. Okay, good to know. We're maxed out in our industries as well. Our armor is as good as we need it to be. Same with our infantry, largely. Although we might want to work on some of our mechanized upgrades. That might be a thing that we want to do. And we also want to grab Night Vision 2 when we can. When we have a free slot. So that's definitely things that we want to be working on for the time being. We did just finish up some infrastructure here, and we are completing the infrastructure at a pretty breakneck pace, honestly. Yeah, we're completing like 3 infrastructure per month, almost 1 per week. So that's pretty solid right there. We are quite pleased with that. How are things going over here? We lost more convoys to Spanish submarines. It's unfortunate. Should we have these guys on something other than patrol? Low surface detection, low max speed. Maybe. But then again, maybe not. Suboptimal fuel efficiency. Okay. I mean, we're full on our fuel, so we don't necessarily care about that. I mean, a lot of our destroyers, yeah, these are still mostly early destroyer hulls. We've got some 44 destroyer hulls, but a lot of that is not particularly great, shall we say. But that's okay. How are we doing on repairs right now? There are a few repairs that are being affected at this moment. So that's completely fine. I definitely want to get enough fleets to control at least up to here. So we need several more here. Apparently there's just the single submarine over here. I'm sure that's going to go fantastically well. We do need more battleships and light cruisers, but it's destroyers and submarines that we're able to mostly pump out here. And that's mostly what we're going to work on, is our destroyers and submarines. There are cruisers and heavy ships down here. And then 2 heavy ships in progress here, as well as a cruiser and a destroyer and a submarine. I do think that this is fine. I don't think that we need to throw more at this exact moment. What we can do, of course, is we can do region-wide industrial integration, and so we shall. And we're going to get a naval dockyard, but honestly, this... if we can, anyway. Where is that at? I should look at it before I do it. I really, really should. Galapagos? No. Maybe a location that was already overbuilt. I'm not seeing it right now, or perhaps I'm just blind. That's always a possibility. Yeah, I'm guessing it was a location that was already overbuilt. Okay. Sad. But if it was... Ooh. Accidents. What? From training. Oh, okay. Well, sure. We are generating a decent amount of naval experience, though, now. So that's good. Over here, we're definitely still losing convoys, and I think a large amount of that is probably due to the fact that this composition isn't necessarily the best for what we're looking to do here. Definitely not necessarily the best. Magnetic detonators just finished up. That's great. We're going to immediately begin work on modern ship torpedo launchers. There we go. That's going to be 83 days out. And that's fine. Now, we do have some planes over here. Accidents from training. And we did lose 18 convoys. Oof. Oof indeed. Well, where are our other ships going? I'm wondering. Here. It would definitely be here. Where are they actually at? Cape Verde Plain. They're down over here. You know what? Let's have them patrol down here. I'm not sure where their other region is. I'm just going to remove their orders and place them down here, like that. Okay. And who else is in this location? These guys. So these guys, they are going to be moved from this location to perhaps the Western Mediterranean. Patrol the Western Mediterranean. Can they not reach that? Oh, there we go. Now they're active in the region. Good. Okay, so we are looking to gain some naval supremacy in some of these locations. No, Colombia, you're not ready yet. Excellent. And we'll need a couple more out over here. So what are these guys at? They're over here. Sure. These guys are operating in the Mexican coast. And I feel like they're not super useful there right now. We're going to remove them from there, and we're going to... They can't reach over here. We're just going to have them do exercises then. These guys are in the Western Mediterranean. These guys are operating in the Mexican coast. They're currently drilling. These guys are operating in the Central Mediterranean, the Mexican coast, and they are currently drilling. They can't reach out up over here. These guys can't reach, so they're fine. Operating in the Caribbean. This is fine. We need that. Operating here, yes, we need that, and training in the Mexican coast. And they can't reach up over here. Okay, sounds good. So, I mean, we're not doing super well inside of the actual Mediterranean here, right? That is definitely a thing that is not happening. I mean, they have pretty good naval supremacy, or rather air supremacy over here. And that's to be expected. Completely expected. But what we're trying to do right now is just outfit some of these guys. And hopefully not throw away more ships than we can afford. But that's hopeful. is probably not true. We are probably throwing away more ships than we can afford, is my current assumption. Now, in theory, we could almost invade here. That might be a better bet for us right now. Is there anything else up here that we need? No, not really. Let's go ahead and grab... There's this stuff down here. Let's go ahead and grab the electric torpedo. Fantastic. And we can also grab the homing torpedo. Those will all be nice passive upgrades for us. This is a modern tank brigade that will go into this army. Fantastic. We could invade the Soviet Union. Is Morocco in the war? They're a supervised state of the US. Okay. So we would have to invade here and then invade up to here. But that wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea for us. Not necessarily be a bad idea at all. I'm going to give up on this for now. And we are going to plan a naval invasion from here. That's a potential issue. Okay. Something along the lines of this or so. However, we have to take this naval base for this to actually work. That must happen. That is 100% required. If we don't take this naval base, this invasion fails and this entire army dies. So that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. If we establish a beachhead here successfully, though, then that is huge. Now we can see that there's a couple Soviet armies around up here, but we don't see any on this coast right now. So that's fascinating. He's going to be ready to do that in 84 days. Our Navy is going to be ready to do that in 84 days. Well, for one thing, this goes up into the Central Atlantic Gap, so that's a negatory. However, we could patrol up here. Like that. Or, no, these guys are in the Western Mediterranean. Who are the ones that are drilling? These guys are one of the ones that are drilling. So they would come out over here. Like that. We need to control the Central Atlantic Gap in order to make this happen. And yeah, this is going to be a thing. That's fine. That is A-okay. I'm completely fine with this. So we have a tank brigade here that is going to go into this army. Fantastic. And these guys all don't have orders right now. They should probably be prepping a backup naval invasion, with their invasion being from like here up to, say, also this, like this same thing. That could work. Just try to put enough force here to get an African beachhead. Now, I don't necessarily want to fight the Soviet Union on this front. But maybe this will be a good distraction for them. That's kind of the idea. And if we have naval supremacy in these 3 locations here, then there's not a whole lot they can do about it. We just got integrated convoy defense. That's great. And we're going to grab undersea blockade for some surface detection. Fantastic. How are we doing on our repairs? Not bad. Not bad at all. So this is a big part of the reason why I'm not too interested in rushing these. Although rushing the repair of this civilian factory is pretty important to me. Let's go ahead and do that. And how is our... Ooh, we could get more steel from the US. Do it. We just gobble up all the steel they have. Literally all of it. Do they have steel? We want it. And their opinion of us has come up somewhat. Not as much as I'd like, but it's okay. It'll do. It's maintainable. And we definitely need to hold this location. But if we can take this section of the Soviet Union and this section of Spain, going to be a big deal for us. Like, essentially, we want to control the Strait of Gibraltar, which we're not exactly going to do. The Allies are going to do that. But we're going to kind of control adjacent the Strait of Gibraltar for now. That's kind of the overall idea there. Let's go ahead and do region-wide industrial integration, and let's see what we can get done here. Where is it? Here. It is here. Civilian factories. Oh, there's one there too. I guess that was the one I was blind about. Civilian factories, go! Fantastic. We'll get all that underway, and we are getting close to being done with our infrastructure push. So that is, of course, amazing. That does mean that we are getting more of the supplies that we had down here. So that's good. Japan still wants us to join their faction. I'm still going to decline for now. How are they doing, anyway? West Germany joined the Allies. Okay. Yeah, they're holding off the Allies over there. That's fair enough. And they may be pushing back out now. Okay. West Germany, what are you up to? Fighting Japan. Okay. That is completely fine by us. The Allies can fight Japan all they want. Accidents from training. I don't think we have any training in that region right now, but okay. How are we doing over here? 35% and 31%. So we definitely need to have more control up in these regions, right? These guys are not capable of reaching. What are these guys doing? They're operating in the central Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Mexican coast, they can't reach. Cape Verde, Caribbean. Okay, they can kind of reach. Sure. So it would be these guys. They're currently here, making sure that we control this location. We do control this location, and no one is contesting that. So perhaps we should move these guys up to the Western Mediterranean, where, you know, they can get nice and wrecked, like the last guys we sent up there. There's the modern ship torpedo launcher, so we're going to go ahead and toss that onto our destroyer hulls. So the destroyer hull, 1944 destroyer hull Mark III, is going to be superseded by the Mark IV, which will be this. Yeah, the fire control, the sonar, this is all good to go. Okay, so that is the destroyer hull Mark IV, and we will go ahead and swap over to that. We're not going to lose very much production time, so that's great. We are currently at 40 naval experience. Shall we see if we can get a submarine going? We're still working on these. Both of those are passives, though. They don't unlock new parts. All of these are passives. Okay. Sounds good. So we're going to hop into our production, and we're going to crank up our submarines. So our current submarines are the Mark I, which is this, and it is pretty abysmal. So we're going to put in, I think, a torpedo room and torpedo tubes. And then we're going to put in, I think, a snorkel here. These are currently mine-laying tubes. I think we're going to focus hard on torpedoes. Torpedo tubes 4. Engine 4. Now we can have either a radar or a snorkel. We're going to go for the snorkel. This is all we can put on this. Okay. I mean, it's a submarine, right? It's going to be pretty small. So that's fine. Do we want to go this heavy into torpedoes? I feel like we do. Okay. So the submarine hull now needs to be the submarine hull Mark II. This guy right here. Fantastic. Now we're down to 18 naval experience, and we'll work on bringing that up a little bit more to outfit our cruisers and our heavy ships. And at some point, we're going to need to make carriers as well. For now, though, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are going to continue attempting to establish some form of naval supremacy. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.